Do you ever feel like we're moving faster than ever, but we've completely lost our sense of direction? We're surrounded by incredible progress and technology that promises constant connection, yet so many of us feel disconnected. There's this nagging feeling that something profound is missing. Our lives are so fast-paced, always chasing the next thing that we're told will finally make us happy, the next phone, the next promotion, the next productivity hack, but that feeling of emptiness just seems to grow. What if the answers we're looking for aren't in the future, but buried in the past? What if the forgotten stories of ancient gods could teach us more about how to live in this chaotic modern world than we ever imagined? These aren't just dusty old fairy tales. Think of them as psychological blueprints, manuals for navigating the human condition that are just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. Let's start with a titan you've probably heard of, but maybe in a different light: Prometheus. His name literally means forethought or to think ahead, which is a huge clue to his whole story. In the most famous version of the myth, Prometheus looked at early humanity and saw us as weak, cold, and struggling. So, in an act of cosmic rebellion against Zeus, the king of the gods, he stole fire and gave it to us. This one gift changed everything. Fire wasn't just warmth and light. It was a symbol for technology, for knowledge, for the power to create. With it, we could build cities and create civilization. We could cook our food, but we could also forge weapons. Prometheus's gift kickstarted human progress, but it came with a terrible price. For this act, Zeus came up with a truly brutal punishment. He had Prometheus chained to a rock for eternity, where an eagle would fly down each day to eat his liver, only for it to grow back overnight, forcing him to endure the agony again and again. So, what does this ancient horror story have to do with us? The myth of Prometheus is playing out all around us, right now. We are living in an age of stolen fire. Think about the godlike power of artificial intelligence, gene editing, or the internet. These are our modern fires, offering us the ability to reshape our world, cure diseases, and connect billions. But Prometheus's story is a stark warning. Progress is never neutral. It always challenges the old way of doing things and forces us to deal with the consequences of our own creations. The story forces us to ask some tough questions. In our relentless race for the next big thing, are we actually acting with forethought? Are we thinking through the ethical responsibilities that come with this kind of power? Prometheus's eternal suffering is a symbol of the heavy burden that comes with being a visionary. It teaches us that true progress isn't just about being brilliant. It requires wisdom and a deep understanding that our creations can be used for both good and ill. Alright, let's leave the fiery drama of Olympus and go somewhere completely different: the wild, untamed forests of ancient Greece. This was the home of a lesser-known but profoundly important god, Pan. Pan was the god of the wild, of shepherds, their flocks, and rustic music. And he didn't look like one of the other pristine, perfect-looking Olympians. He was a hybrid half-man, half-goat, with shaggy legs and horns. He was a perfect fusion of the human and the animal. And here's what's so interesting about Pan. He wasn't worshipped in big polished temples in the middle of a city. His sanctuaries were the wild places: caves, grottos, mountainsides, and forests. To worship Pan meant leaving the structured, human world behind and tapping into the raw, untamed pulse of nature itself. He was often seen with nymphs, who were spirits tied to specific rivers and springs, and their presence made the entire landscape feel sacred. This worldview created a deep sense of belonging to a landscape, not just living on it. The natural world wasn't just a pile of resources to be used up. It was a living thing, buzzing with divine presence and meaning. Pan's message is a world away from how many of us live now. We live in a state of profound disconnection from nature. We experience the world through screens, living our lives in concrete jungles, alienated from the very environment that keeps us alive. We've become digitally connected but physically plictus. The famous cry, recorded by the historian Plutarch, "The great god Pan is dead," feels more true today than ever. His death symbolizes the silencing of the wild, both in the world around us and inside our own instincts. But Pan's story also offers a way back. It reminds us how important it is to reroot ourselves in our local environment. It's a call to find the sacred in the small things, to learn the names of the trees in your neighborhood, to help protect local rivers, or to just go for a walk in a forest and really listen. Pan's lesson is that meaning isn't just found in some grand, abstract idea. It's right here, in our tangible, immediate surroundings. By reviving the spirit of Pan, we can start to heal our relationship with the planet and rediscover a sense of place in a world that feels increasingly temporary. So these are just a couple of examples, but it's clear these old stories still have so much to teach us. I'm curious, which forgotten god or myth do you think holds the most important lesson for us today? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. The gods we've forgotten aren't just characters in a story. They represent the very ideas and values our modern culture has started to lose. The psychologist Carl Jung famously argued that humans are myth-making creatures, that we need these big stories to figure out our place in the world and find meaning. When we throw out the old myths without creating new ones, we're left totally adrift. Think about it, we've sort of dethroned the god of cultural memory. In our obsessive drive for what's new, we've developed a kind of collective amnesia, cutting ourselves off from the wisdom of our own past. We've abandoned the gods of shared meaning. As traditional communities have declined, we look for belonging in fragmented online tribes in what we buy, which often leaves us feeling more alone than ever. And we've neglected the gods of craft and depth. In a world that values speed and profit above all else, the idea of doing slow, patient, meaningful work is often dismissed as inefficient. By forgetting these gods, both the literal ones and the metaphorical ones, we've forgotten essential parts of ourselves. We've lost the scripts and moral frameworks that once gave our lives a sense of purpose and held our societies together. So, what do we do with these stories of Prometheus, Pan, and Isis? They're living narratives that offer incredibly practical wisdom for today. Prometheus teaches us that innovation demands responsibility. Pan teaches us that a true sense of belonging is rooted in our connection to the world right outside our door. And Isis teaches us that we have an incredible capacity for resilience and reinvention, even after devastating loss. These myths are like maps of meaning, left for us by our ancestors. They remind us that the human condition itself, our struggles, our ambitions, our search for purpose is timeless. They show us that we aren't the first people to feel disconnected, to be afraid of the future, or to suffer loss. This isn't about escaping into the past. It's about recovering a timeless source of guidance. Simply remembering a fundamental truth, that the deepest wisdom for how to live is already encoded in the stories we've been telling for thousands of years. They're a mirror, reflecting the eternal patterns of what it means to be human, just waiting for us to look. It reminds me of something Carl Jung once wrote: as far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. And maybe, just maybe, these ancient stories are the flint and steel we need to do just that.